We have the doors that are to the west. If to, no, to west doors, yeah. If, as far as the church, the school teachers in the school will be using the east doors. Coming in the playground.
Oh, it's 6 o'clock. Stand up and pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Just a reminder to silence your cell phone. Okay. We'll start with roll call.
Mayor Sherman.
Here.
Councillor Horton.
Here.
Councillor Klinkhammer.
Here.
Councillor Lundstrom. Councillor Scalise.
Here.
Councillor Spradlin. Councillor Tyree.
All right. We do have a forum. Approval of the agenda. Do we have any additions or corrections for the agenda tonight? If not, I'd look for a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve the agenda for the regular meeting November 10th, 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Councillor Scalise.
Yes.
Councillor Horton.
Yes.
Councillor Klinkhammer.
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. All right, that motion passes. Approval of the minutes. Does anybody have any corrections for the minutes for the last meeting? If not, I'll look for a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the regular meeting of October 27th, 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Councillor Klinkhammer.
Yes.
Councillor Horton.
Yes.
Councillor Scalise.
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. All right, that motion passes. We've got visitors and delegations. We'll start with citizen comments. Citizens are invited to speak to council on any item that does not have a public hearing scheduled. There's a 5-minute time limit per person unless otherwise noted by the mayor. Please note that no formal action will be taken on an item that's not on the posted agenda due to an open meetings law provision. However, they may be placed on a future posted agenda if action is required. To better assist you with questions, please submit them in writing to the city clerk and someone from staff will respond. Do we have citizen comments tonight? All right, go ahead and come on up to the podium and tell us your name and address.
Good late afternoon.
Hello.
I'm Margot Mesh. My husband's sitting behind me. We live at 340 Cambridge Street, and we have since 1990. And I have learned more about brush in the last week and a half, than I ever thought I could learn. It doesn't seem that big, but boy, when you start researching something, it gets big. And I'm giving each of you a packet.
Thank you.
I've tried to make them equal, but a couple of them do not have a map. So if you don't get one with a map, we'll have to get one for you. I've tried to do the pictures, but the pictures,
Thank you.
I'll just leave these here for now. And then this is what I'm going to talk to you about. And if you'll just follow this with me, these things are in your packet. I thought that way it's a little easier for you to see what my thinking was, because I know some of this is
Thank you.
different. It's hard to keep up on items. But I'm here to just, to present some issues with the street sweeper and the machine. Anybody else want? Okay, in your packet, there's the City of Brush map. It was provided by Chamber of Commerce. There's also the resolution number 2024-3 for a stormwater system. And what was decided by council and the city several years ago, I think, was the 27 cents per linear foot that we are charged for having our street cleaned in front of our home. And also, if you live on a corner, you're only charged for the side of the street that has your house number, which is fair for somebody that gets stuck on a corner. The second thing is it's a non-exempt street sweeper operator job description. There's also the street sweeping calendar, by day, week, and a month. There are 3 Mondays of work in the month, 3 Tuesdays, 3 Wednesdays, 2 Thursdays, and 2 Fridays that are cleaned every month. Map for each day and week showing streets to be cleaned, I've included in your packet. They're not to size, but you can see enough to where they are and how many blocks they entail. When you look at the schedule, it looks like it is a humongous amount of work for that street sweeper and machine to work and clean. And actually, my thought of working with heavy equipment is pivot. But it takes a month to get over every street and brush. That just doesn't seem that feasible. Anyway, there's a map for each day and week showing the streets to be cleaned. Now, also on that, you're going to find that some of the streets that are listed are hard to find. I didn't realize Bald Boulevard had one street going up one side, and as you got to the north end, it turned into another street. So it's really 2 streets names, and it comes into Ann, which is hardly nothing. So it appears in writing to be much more extensive than what it is. So anyway, I found out a lot of history about brush. So the pictures of the street cleaner in the streets, there's Emerson Cambridge intersection. That tells you what happens if you use the street cleaner without water to calm dust. It's being brought up by the booms. On the south side of town, I spoke with the city council person several years ago that was on the council and asked him when the streets were clean, and he said he had never seen them clean or observed them clean afterwards. So, you know, I had talked to several people about that 3 or 4 years ago. Also, Howell and Sample Street, probably the cleanest streets that we have. And again, that's one of those streets that starts out Howell, you get to the north side, flips to Sample. I want all of our streets to be as clean as that street. And 4 is the grate filled with leaves. Descriptions tried to blow it out, as well as some of my neighbors, but we had to put a work order in for the street sweeper. And the street sweeper didn't do it, somebody else came along and took care of the top. And that showed, and most all of those were done within the last week and a half, 10 days, those pictures. Except the one with the street sweeper blowing up the dust and the dirt. Information and questions, the monthly cost of service again is 27 cents per linear foot, and I use our footage for our bill. It's 75 feet times 27 cents a linear foot. And I know people ask sometimes, why is it linear? You know, what does that mean? It's just a straight line, it's not a square, it's not it's not area, it's just a linear foot. And for 12 months, it costs us $243 for the year. Linear cost of footage, I told you that already. What would constituents say if they knew that they were paying for a service that was not done? And then we have actually witnessed the street sweeper, if it comes up on Emerson Street, which is the North Street off of Cambridge, they will come up on, it used to be Prasher's house. As soon as that house stops and the neighbor on the corner, their fence starts, that street sweeper stops. Does not go ahead and finish off to the end. So, what would the constituents say if they were doing for a service that they're not receiving? Use of the street sweeper. The street sweeper costs about $275,000. When was current one purchased? And when I was researching that was about 2 years ago. This is actually the 2nd year of use, if I remember correctly. There are weekly maps showing the area to be cleaned once a month. Why aren't these maps followed? Other departments are. Some areas that are not clean. William Street has not been cleaned since May. I spoke to Mr. Lundstrom, Mayor Pro Tem, about this 3 years ago when our son was remodeling a house so that he could get moved here. And he'd never seen his street cleaned, which is a circular cul-de-sac that's off of Williams. And I've never seen it cleaned myself, but I have cleaned it. And I'll tell you why. The south side is seldom cleaned again, if ever cleaned. Why? And again, I got this information from a previous council member. And I have talked with several people over there, that they just figured they didn't count, but I think they all get billed for a service they're not receiving. What should your constituents think when they are paying for a service apparently willingly not provided? The Brush Village, to my understanding, has never been cleaned by the street sweeper. Why? If you're paying for a service, I don't care what part of town you're in, you deserve to have that service. Seldom are the brushes on the sweep, they're called sweeper brooms. Seldom are they used. There's a budget for $2,500 for brushes, yet 2/3 of the cleaning power of the street sweeper are not being used. 1/3 is, the center part. The brush on either side not being used, not having water put down before it. It's not using that $275,000 piece of equipment effectively and efficiently. Repair for the machine is $8,500. List of repairs, there should be a maintenance log. Who sees the log of repairs and why? Are they normal, just oil change, whatever? Somebody needs to oversee that on a new piece of equipment. It's not a used piece of equipment. It was purchased new. Tires, $3,000, gas and oil, $13,000. Of course, the brushes, again, were $2,500 for the brushes. Training. I would like to know, was training provided when the new top-notch sweeper was purchased? That's like using a tractor and not putting anything in the back to pull it and put it in the ground. If it was, why wasn't the machine being used efficiently for what it is designed to do? You don't use 1/3 of a big piece of equipment. And if you use all the equipment across the two brushes, one on either side, and then the center part that has the vacuum along with it, you clean the street in one lap one side, one on the other side. You don't have to go back and forth 6 times because you're only using that center piece. And that's been witnessed by me, as well as others. The brooms and brushes need to use water, if not, the dust particles cannot be captured out of the air. One of the best ways to help our community in my research was to use a street sweeper the way it is meant to be, and it helps keep the particulates out of the air that harm us. And it's actually something that we environmentally need to do, and it benefits us all personally. I used Google Street Sweeper websites. They're neat to watch run, the different sizes, the different things they have, how quickly it can run. I don't know, we must have an idler or something on our gas pedal on our street sweeper machine, because it only goes slow. And also on the research on the different sweeper websites, it shows and explains the benefits of using the street sweeper as a boost again for environmental cleanliness. In my comments I have at the bottom here, the city departments have daily, weekly schedules to follow. City billing, trash, water, wastewater, and supposedly street sweeper. If these departments did not follow their schedules, the city could be fined. The people in charge could be fired or lose their licenses. We have some people that have to have a specific kind of license, not just a CDL. a specific license to operate the machines that they operate and the equipment. Wastewater is one of those. If one day of trash was not picked up without the constituents being notified, how many calls would City Hall get complaining about that? And especially if the trash was held over for a week, let alone a month. Well, that just doesn't work. Why does the City of Brush charge for a service that is being inadequately done or not done at all? And why is City Council not overseeing the locations being swept? And again, the maps are not to scale. The big map, you can put the little pieces and you can identify where they are. I use a marker around to find the streets. Some streets are just a turn-in, beginning of a street. You have Cotton Street off of Mill Street. You have Cotton Street coming off of Munns Addition. And Munns Addition is not in city limits. There's a little spot that is. But cleaning Brush Street should not take a month to go over the whole town. And I forgot my thought, what should council's constituents do? They're paying for a service that they're not receiving. And when they do receive it, it's also not well done. And I'd love to have a piece of equipment, $275,000. So it would probably be needing a new repair when it was done in 5 to 10 years. And it wasn't a cheap machine. One other thing that I was thinking about when I found out about it, many of council's constituents live in a flood zone. I never believed, I've heard flood zone before, but I never realized the extent of it until I saw the flood map at a realtor's office. It's amazing. Every person that lives over there, if they didn't buy their house outright with cash, they have an extreme fee to cover their flood insurance on their home mortgage. Just that alone, to me, requires them to have really good consideration. No different than anybody else's, but they have a special need because we haven't been able to change that flood zone to 100-year zone or whatever else. I just haven't got into that part. You know, researching one thing starts researching another thing. So your constituents pay more for their homes if they carry a mortgage. Please look at street cleaning maps for these constituents. And I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for all of your research, Margot. We'll look at that and someone will get back to you. Do we have anybody else? All right. We'll move on to management. We have a first reading of an ordinance. Are you going to do this one?
Yeah, I'll cover that one. Thank you, Mayor Sherman. This ordinance before you tonight is the first part of the cemetery changes that we are proposing. We brought them to council in work session back in September. We have a few minor changes to the ordinance tonight. There's 4 or 5 that deal with, you know, the time, the minimum amount of time between services, what the document is called that we issue for the sale of a plot. It's correcting a couple small issues, and then it's removing a section that's a little bit misguided information on the permission that the city has that they can grant for burial. So, and then next meeting, we'll be bringing a resolution for the changes to our rules and regulations and our fee schedule. Are there any questions on the ordinance tonight?
You've gone over it all with us, so we know what you're talking about. So I need a counselor to introduce this ordinance by title.
Ordinance number 917-25, an ordinance amending Chapter 11, Article 4 of the Brush Municipal Code regarding cemetery regulations.
Right. And then I need a motion to approve on first reading and publish.
I make a motion to approve and publish ordinance number 917-25, an ordinance amending Chapter 11, Article 4 of the Brush Municipal Code regarding cemetery regulations.
Second?
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Horton,
Yes.
Counselor Scalise,
Yes.
Counselor Clint Camera,
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. All right, that motion passes. We have a first reading of another ordinance. Monty's gonna talk about this.
Okay, yeah, Tyler is still on the road, he's not gonna make it in time, so I told him I would cover this one. It's ordinance number 918-25. It's an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Brush, Colorado, amending certain provisions of the municipal code. And this is the first reading. And Tyler explained that he had brought this to council a number of occasions and talked about all these different smaller code changes that he was proposing. He also had Dan put together the final documents on this to ensure that everything was in order. And so he's requesting this to be first reading to move forward. The one thing that he said, just to clarify, there were some discussions by council on poisonous snakes versus venomous snakes being allowed, and so they took out the poisonous and left venomous snakes in. And then also constrictor type snakes is one of the ones that we had talked about, really haven't had any issues with, so that is allowable, the constrictors. And but he said that was kind of a last minute adjustment to this, and he just wanted that to be out there. So we're looking for approval for first reading.
Good, and we've got all this in our packet, so we can look through it. We have a counselor that will introduce this by title. Anybody?
Ordinance number 918-25, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Brush, Colorado, amending certain provisions of the municipal code.
Right, and then I'll need a motion to approve on first reading and publish.
I move, go ahead.
Go for it.
Go ahead.
I move to make a motion to approve ordinance number 918-25, an ordinance for the City Council of the City of Brush, Colorado, amending certain provisions of the municipal code.
Second.
So we're approving on first reading and publishing it. And we got a second discussion? Any roll call vote?
Counselor Scalise,
Yes.
Counselor Horton,
Yes.
Counselor Clint Camera,
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. That motion passes. Finance. Tyler, you want to do finance tonight?
I'd like to make a motion to approve disbursements and payroll for October 28th, 2025 to November 10th, 2025, totaling $438,400.01.
A second?
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Horton,
Yes.
Counselor Scalise,
Yes.
Counselor Clint Camera,
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. And I apologize, I didn't address you as counselor. Okay, move on to staff reports. Chief Flexsteiner.
Madam Mayor, Council, thank you for having me. Just a couple of things to go over real quickly. I want to hit on Blue Santa. We're going to be doing Blue Santa this Saturday at Fresh Foods from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. We're taking donations, typically toiletries and items for people that have a hard time during the holidays. So we'll be there from 9 to 1. Fort Morgan's going to be doing it in tandem at the same time. They'll be at, I believe, Walmart, Edwards, and Safeway as well if somebody ends up in the Fort Morgan area. Just to get people as much help as they can for the holiday season. Secondly, I just want to highlight the donation provided by the Tractor Supply Company a couple weekends ago. They did donate $250 towards us as well as the fire department. So we're very appreciative of them. To provide any amount of money for us is definitely greatly appreciated. The last thing I want to hit on, we had some recent discussions and concerns regarding electric or e-bikes. I did delve into a Colorado state statute for them and identified that essentially an electric bicycle, as I kind of presumed, is just managed the same way as a regular bicycle is. Depending on the wattage of the battery, It just identifies it as either a bicycle. If it goes up beyond 750 watts, it's considered beyond an electric bicycle. So that one line where it needs registration, insurance, and different license and stuff like that for it. So there are a couple different classifications I can delve into if anybody has more questions or concerns about it. But essentially, any regulations or enforcement on our part is just essentially if somebody's riding an electric bicycle outside of state statute or traffic control, just as a bicycle would as well. So, and on our side of things, we can, if we receive complaints, make contact with the person, identify if it is an actual electric bicycle or an e-bike, or something that's going to be required registration, and then obviously take enforcement beyond that. Short and sweet for me, unless anybody has any concerns or questions that have come up recently.
I have a question in regards to the meeting you were going to have with the Chamber and Fire Department over the 4th of July balloon fire truck.
Correct.
Water.
I did send the executive director an email just this afternoon. I haven't received anything yet, so as soon as I get that email back, I'll make arrangements to figure out what we can do about it.
Very good. Thank you. Fire Chief Yurt.
Evening, Mayor, Council. First off, thanks to Tractor Supply for their donation of $250 to the department. It's greatly appreciated. Second thing, we have an engine out of service, 920, has a severe oil leak that we're trying to track down to figure out what the issue is. So we're down to one engine, so that will cover city and rural. So there's that. And then next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, myself, Tad and Mike Dory will be going to Ohio for the inspection on the cabin chassis for the ladder truck. And that's all I have, unless anybody has any questions.
Ladder truck is still slated for March? February,
January to March.
January, March.
So we'll have a better idea when we're out there next week.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Del Colrick, Director of Public Works.
Thank you, Mayor. Sorry I was late. Had a lift station issue in Hill Rose, and that's a sanitary health thing, so I have to take care
That's
of that.
important, yeah.
Well, I really don't have a whole lot tonight. We're close to accepting the Crossway and Faith Road out of the Armbar development. We're down to a very few items on the punch list, and they're minor, shouldn't take too much longer, so we'll start the time on the warranty, clicking on that one there. And then starting on Wednesday at 1 o'clock, CDOT's putting together a winter operations meeting. And so I plan on having street crew being able to attend that too, so we can kind of, everybody get on the same page when it comes to wintertime operations of snow removal and other things that can occur. And on a more exciting level, we have the Circular Economy of Colorado. They are looking at wanting to put styrofoam recycling here in Brush, and so I have a meeting with them on the 19th. Now, keep in mind, packing peanuts are not styrofoam. They may act like it, but they're not. This is for like the styrofoam that you get when you get a TV or a stereo or whatever. And so, and this is at no cost to us. They will provide the actual bin itself, plus they go into a lot of these large bags. We just have to have a place to hold on to those bags until such time that it's worth their while to come down and actually pick them up. They will cover the cost of recycling. This is at no cost to the city whatsoever. So, and that's one of our contaminants when it comes to single stream and cardboard, is having that styrofoam. And whenever you have a contaminant, you have to give residents the ability to get rid of it somewhere. And so hopefully that'll work out nice. And then we're still working on some financing and some small things with our reverse osmosis system and our solids handling. So we're still kind of moving forward with that. Got a Zoom meeting this Friday, kind of go over some project needs assessments and things along that line. And with that, any questions, comments?
Do you have a place to hold these contaminants?
Yes. As to say, glass was a contaminant for our single stream, and we were fortunate enough to acquire that container that we currently recycle glass in now. And as far as the bags, they're you've seen those big white feed bags that you get corn or grain in. You see them. Well, that's pretty much what those will be like for the styrofoam as well. And so we'll probably have right around 5 or 6 of them that we'll have to fill up before they're really ready to come down and pick it up, because it's gotta be cost effective for them to come and get it. So, but the good news is we now have an outlet. So,
Very good.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. Finance, Chris Weston.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. It's great to be here this evening. Just a reminder, we'll be gathering together Wednesday evening, November 12th, at 6:00 p.m. for our annual budget retreat. This year, we're going to have it over at the Community Development Building. So we're excited to have a little bit of a change in location. We will be having dinner, so you're welcome to come a little bit early. So we will try to get started at close to 6:00 as possible. And that's not the only change you'll see in location. I'm going to change things up a little bit in the presentation of our retreat. We're going to be going a little more electronic in how we present the proposed budget to you. Not only are we going to have our PowerPoint presentation, but you were emailed the retreat workbook last Friday, and so that will be your workbook for our retreat. So please bring your laptops, your iPads, and your PDF document. And we're hopeful that we can kind of move away from having these one-time, one-use paper workbooks, okay? But if you would really prefer to have a paper workbook that evening, just please visit with Loranda, and we'll make sure that we have one available for you. So, other than that, we'll still be doing and reviewing the budget, and we look forward to having some good conversation, questions, and I think we have a really good presentation for you. So, other than that, I look forward to our time together this Wednesday. So, any questions for me? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. HR, Kim Dix.
I have nothing for you this evening.
Alrighty. City Clerk, Lorinda.
I just want to congratulate all of our candidates that won the November 4th election last week. Mayor Sherman was elected for a second term. Tyler Horton was elected to Ward 1. Whitney Machuca was elected to Ward 2. And Nick Skiles was elected to Ward 3, who is in attendance here tonight. The swearing in will take place at the January 12th meeting. And that's all I have to report.
Good. Thank you. We have Dan Crabb, our city attorney, on the phone. Do you have anything for us, Dan?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Congratulations to the successful candidates and you as well. I apologize for not being there in person. My car actually decided to give up on the way back from the Brush football game, so I can make it out there for fun, but not for my job, apparently. So sorry about that.
That's out of your control. It was the car that decided.
Happy to answer any questions if you guys have any.
I don't think anybody has any questions for you tonight. So,
All right, thank you, Mayor.
thank you. All right, City Administrator Monty.
Okay, a few different items. One is prairie dogs. We've been working with the school district and a few property owners out on the north side of town. There's quite a few prairie dogs out in that area, and with some of the construction activities, they're starting to move different places. So we're working with the property owners to see if there's some ways that we can resolve the prairie dog situation. The other thing is Lance Schwent came in and talked about the bike path and some safety issues as far as crossing over behind Howell Avenue and Princeton, the alleyway back there where the bike path crosses. And so they did complete the connection there, and they put up some safety yellow painted lines, things like that. But it really stands out now really well. So we want to do that as the first step, and then in the future, Dale's going to look at some different signage out there, some more reflective and eye-catching signage, just to get people to slow down out there in that area, and then also just giving them a warning that there are pedestrians crossing, and then for those that are on the bike path, so that they're aware that there are cars that are crossing as well. Just one of the safety things that we had identified. Next item is over on Clayton Street. The medians out there, there's 3 large medians from Central School up to the old middle school grounds. And they've become pretty sightly lately. You know, the grass has died, the sprinkler systems aren't working. And Lance is going to shoot for still this fall to get the, actually Greg is working on it, taking out the old sprinkler system, putting in new sprinkler lines and drip lines, and then we're gonna put some landscaping mulch over that, try and dress up the area a little bit, but also on the same note, we wanna save water if we can out in that area. So it won't be all grass anymore, it's gonna be mostly mulch with some landscaping and plants in there. But it'll make the place look really nice. Other thing, just be aware, water rates, we're gonna have that discussion probably at the next meeting is our target, talk about where the recent revenues, where they're sitting at, and if we're saving enough for the RO facility project, what those increases need to be for the future. So we'll have that information for the city council. And last item is Veterans Day is tomorrow, so thank you to all the veterans out there. And then for the city of Brush, almost 10% of our employees are veterans, and so it's kind of nice to have a lot of veterans on board. And we had a lunch today, city-sponsored lunch. Dan attended as well, Dell attended, and so we had a good representation of veterans there. Had about 7 of them. And so the city, what we do is each year we either do a breakfast or lunch, and then they get a gift card. So, thank you, veterans.
All right. Mayor and council reports. Does anybody have anything to share? I have, I should have asked you when you were up there. I just want to confirm we're getting flags out tomorrow. Flags tomorrow?
Yes.
And then I had a citizen comment on Facebook about, I don't know if anybody saw it, about a tornado shelter. She asked if thinks we should address having a tornado shelter where people can go in a tornado. And I thought about it and I thought, well, there's probably lots of places around town that someone could go if they didn't feel safe in their own home. I mean, I don't know how much time you'd have to go anywhere, but, but, you know, since we're kind of in the off season of tornadoes, maybe we can have a work session, maybe put together tornado safety and maybe a map around town of different places that, you know, gas stations, library, I don't know. But we can put that on a work session at some point. I thought it was an interesting question and worth addressing. So, and that was all I had. So, look for a motion to adjourn so we can move into our work session.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned and we have a work session. Nick, you're welcome to stick around for the work session if you want. See what kind of fun we have. I mean, everybody's welcome to stick around for the work session.